2023. We made it, y'all. And one of the things that I wanted to focus this channel on is, there's a few things. It's all things about the business or whatever. You know, there's different jobs that we do. But before we can get to all that, we got one giant obstacle. I think it's the biggest impediment, that's stopping people from getting started. It is the lost art of figuring things out. Yeah, let it sink in for a minute. Lost art of figuring things out. I was a security guard at a plant, and I used to always talk to the maintenance guys. Now, they had two sets of maintenance guys. They had the guys who worked on the building maintenance and like the machine maintenance guys. And I would always talk to the machine maintenance guys. You know, those was my dudes. And the head manager, we were talking one day. They had some company that came from overseas and built like this monstrous 2-story machine. I don't even know what it was supposed to do. But we happened to be having a conversation about the same thing we talk about now, or a lot of people talk about now, which is the shortage of employees and people that are good with their hands, and everything. And he talked about, he had one of the young guys came to him, was like, man, I've never worked on this machine before, and so I don't know how to fix some of this stuff. And the boss was like, well, neither have I, but we're gonna have to figure it out because that's our job. And inside my head, man, I didn't say it out loud. I just went along with the conversation, playing it off. But inside my head, I was like, you can do that? Like, this giant machine, this giant millions and millions of dollar 2-story machine, you can just figure out how it works? And yes, you can absolutely do that. As a matter of fact, as a handyman, that's literally your job, is to walk in somewhere and figure out the solution to the problem. A room like the room I'm working in here, granted it's drywall, and drywall repairs, they're fairly simple rules that you just walk in, take the drywall down, put it back up. So the solution is fairly simple, but over time you start to understand what you need to put up, what you don't need to put up, and how to set up a room. There is plastic covering this entire floor. I do have the fan venting out the window and have the doors sealed off so we don't flood their house with drywall dust and everything. And there's the completed job, man. It came out pretty good. They want to paint the ceiling. It's a beautiful thing as far as I'm concerned, because not my favorite thing to do. All right, but this is a little more complex as far as figuring things out. This is a tub, and they want a shower. And they got a heavy-duty fiberglass shower that they bought for like $3,000. And I'm going to get that thing installed. And I'm going to have to figure out some things along the way, because it's just how it goes. You could read all the books and you get all the basics, and that's what you should do. You understand all the concept of how it's supposed to work, and then you need to make it happen in real life. And sometimes that's not going to be in a book. It's not going to be laid out perfectly for you. And part of that issue is on the system of education that we have. It's just how it's made. Our education system is made to where they give you a way to solve a problem and you do it that way. All right, y'all. Public service announcement 2. It's another thing with plumbing, or it's about things that you find behind walls or at our job site. See this? Look, there's a tub. There's an old tub. It's coming out. Tub's been in like 20 years. So what are we seeing, Mr. Finisher? What are we looking at? I don't know. Oh, see that bottle back there? Let me tell you something, man. All you got to do not open that bottle. Don't open a bucket. Don't open a bottle. If you find something like that, think Indiana Jones, Ark of the Covenant, faces melting. That's it. That's all I need you to think. You and everybody in that house becomes an instant hashtag. All right. So that's the public service announcement. Now back to the original program. Now, I happen to be in a family that has a lot of educators in it, and they think that way, that they want to be able to teach people, not how to think, but how to use their brain to figure out problems without being spoon-fed answers. Like, for instance, doing the shower, converting this tub to a new shower, I ran into a lot of things that I wasn't expecting, which, look, I hear I'm going to the dungeon, I'm about to go to the crawl space, which, man, insulating. I spent so many years in crawl spaces, man, I just hate them. In my area, the water shut off is usually in the crawl space or in the basement, and sometimes you never know what you're going to find when you get down those areas. All right, y'all. crawl space day. I hate crawl spaces, man. So I'm in here, I'm geared up. I got a hoodie on. I mean, when I get in a crawl space, man, I don't have nothing uncovered. You know what I'm saying? Usually I even got a little mask over my face. But I came down here when I was doing a job for, I was replacing the tub. You know, like I think I said earlier that they have a tub, converted it to a shower, and of course the water shut off was down in the basement. Well, it's great. I didn't see it because, you know, normally I see the water shut off when I first get in the crawl space, not in the basement crawl space, and I didn't see it. So I'm crawling all around the crawl space. Usually it's towards the front, but I didn't see it, so I'm crawling all around the crawl space, and I see the floors, the ground is wet, right? So I'm looking over in this area. I'm shine my light down. You see it's pea gravel, but then you go over here and it's wet. And then I saw some insulation laid down and falling down. So it fell down back there. I was like, what could that be? Man, let me tell you, look at this. That is underneath their shower in their master bedroom. Look at that floor. Floor is gone. That right there, see that? That is the bottom of their shower. See over there, same thing. Same thing. Whole floor is gone underneath the shower. Crazy, right? So I'm actually supposed to later this year, I'm gonna have to tear it out. It's a tile shower. I'm gonna have to tear everything out. So essentially, it's leaking. The homeowner had a guy come in, and she had a leak in her shower, so she had to go through her insurance. And the guy came in, they had to rip the old shower out, put a new shower in, new glass walls and everything. And now this is the new one. This leaking right where the glass wall is. So you see on that side, it's right where the glass wall is. So that's going to be an upcoming project, but probably not until the fall. She's not going to fall through the floor. You never know what you're going to find in these crawl spaces, man. Also, here's another spot. Check this out. Once again, you see where everything's dry, right? But then bam, it's a big spot where it's wet. Well, guess what that is? Look up. It's rotting under the floor too. Right under the toilet. So essentially, I think I'll be replacing everything except for that vanity. The whole floor is gonna have to go. It's a tile floor, so like I said, that's a project this fall. But you gotta get in the crawl space because you never know what you're gonna find. All right, so I'm gonna get back to you in a minute. Now, all those things were not things I was expecting to find. I mean, who knew? You know, like I said, the customer had no idea. But she did say that she thought her floor in her shower was a little spongy. So, hey, you know, but she didn't tell me that until after I showed her pictures of what I found down there. Then she was like, oh my goodness. So then you got to come up with a whole nother plan on how you're going to tackle that. You know, I used to work as a civil engineering technician. I did materials testing for roads and bridges, anything they use for the roads. You know, we tested it. And I took a class one time with a bunch of bridge engineers. And I mean, you know, hey, you think these guys are the brains, right? Now, I'm not knocking them. They only knew what they were taught. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. They came into class and the instructors wanted us to be able to innovate, come up with new ideas and how to, you have this problem, what would you possibly do in this scenario? And I'm telling you, every time one of those guys gave an answer, it was, well, the bridge manual says. I mean, they asked another question. Well, in section C of the bridge manual, it says that we should, I'm sitting there dumbfounded. The instructors are starting to get irritated because it's just like, bro, I'm not asking you what the bridge manual said. But, you know, it wasn't those guys' fault. They studied for the test, and that's what they're taught to do. I mean, but the problem is when you study for the test, all you do is get really good at taking tests. You don't get good at innovation or any of those things that don't come from testing. It comes from thinking. Think about this shower behind me. That spout right there, the little spout right there where I have that tool for, I had it on the other side earlier in the video. And then I had to end up moving it and figuring out how to place everything because the panel wasn't wide enough to put it on the other side where it originally was. So it didn't give me enough room to put it on that side, right? So I had to end up putting the handheld faucet on one side, and then I had to put the arm bracket on the other side. I put extra studs in there, and I marked out put blue tape on where I got where I have studs behind there for reinforcement. So I know when I screw all my brackets down, they're gonna be tight. But it's stuff you had to figure out. All those like cutting out the holes, you gotta cut those yourself. They're not pre-made or anything. So the bottom line is, I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'm gonna have to know how the shower's supposed to go together. And those are all things that you can find. You might be able to find some of those things in the book, but you're not gonna be able to find how it works in every scenario. I mean, I looked online for this faucet set that they had, and there were like plumbers talking about that the directions were terrible and that they had the people take it back to the store. No, they couldn't figure it out. And I'm saying, well, you got to figure it out, man, because that's what they pay you to do. So if you want to make the money for real, we're gonna have to train your brain. Figuring things out is a muscle. It's your brain has to be trained on how to figure things out. And the more you think that way, the easier it comes to you. The easier it'll come to you. All right, y'all? So we're gonna work on that in 2023. We're going to be able to figure things out. We're gonna become artists at figuring things out. All right? So Daryl, also known as the Finisher. Like, comment, subscribe. Hey, man, stay tuned. Got a lot coming for y'all. So stay safe and be blessed.